Have you gone through the StarCraft 2 campaign? And what was your take on it? I recently made a full playthrough of the entire StarCraft franchise. The campaign was and still is good till this day. It was a fantastic experience when it was initially released, and I ain't the only one who would think that way. Because at this day and age, with all the different entertainment avenues one could take, choosing to spend your time playing the campaign, and even better thing is clicking on one of my videos talking about StarCraft 2 campaign. I enjoyed playing it through again and again. It's only logical to me that other people are doing that as well, because the game is fun and good, right? It has to be. Although from the 2024 point of view, the in-game rendered cinematics do look a little bit outdated, especially those in Wings of Liberty, even on ultra settings, but it is to be expected from a game that is 14 years old. Maybe one day we could get a StarCraft 2 remastered the way Blizzard did with their old classics. A man can dream, but not the way Warcraft 3 Reforged happened. On the contrary, Legacy of the Void cinematics still looked amazing to me, almost 10 years after officially being released. Apart from that, Wings of Liberty missions and gameplay for me are well crafted and executed. In 2010, going through that kind of experience must have felt legendary. You get the feeling that you're on a Hyperion battlecruiser with Raynor and crew go on missions throughout space. Looking through Raynor's perspective, you would perform certain tasks like battling the Dominion, taking away Xel'Naga artifacts from under Kerrigan's nose, and stealing from Tal'Darim's drug source. Occasionally, you would encounter some casual hybrid along the way. Blizzard's experiments with players' choices before some missions and the possible impact on the story that plays out have a significant effect left on the player. I remember the first time thinking of what I would want to do. To trust Hansen in being able to find a cure and engage the Protoss, or take the seemingly more rational choice and side with Salandis. Playing for the first time, you don't really know what impact your choice would have on the future gameplay, and that's what makes it more memorable and intense. Destroying the Nidus networks or the flying station, which caused a tremendous difference for the final mission in Wings of Liberty, all in. The StarCraft 2 progression in the campaign's expansions overall felt unique, dynamic, and rewarding. Blizzard's team had put a ton of effort into it, as well as passion and love, that could easily be felt and appreciated. It's not just a rushed product to get your money out of your pocket. That motive is still there, but the product gives you a worthwhile experience along the way. In 2010, the value proposition in gaming compared to other entertainment industries was immense. An example, StarCraft 2 gives you tens of hours from playing the 29 available missions and wings. We ain't even adding the other gaming modes such as ladder, customs, arcade, etc. To continue on with the story, personally I enjoyed it in its entirety. Is it the best story ever written? No. But for a video game it's decent at the very least. Looking at the stage Blizzard is on right now, I would take that as a win. Building upon the character's arc from the OG StarCraft and helping them along the way to fulfill their role in the game felt so satisfying to me. Raynor seeking purpose and redeeming himself after letting Kerrigan alone on New Gettysburg. He had his chance and took it, thus saving Kerrigan and returning her back to human form. Kerrigan having to return back to her infested form because she had nothing left but strive for vengeance. Zeratul, one of my favorite characters in the franchise, and his death caused an emotional response.
Zeratul.
From the creator's perspective, his sacrifice was well written and executed in my own opinion. That's how you kill a character properly for the greater good, even with uncertainty. That's what allowed Artanis' hero's journey to begin. The self-sacrificing act is what Zeratul needed to cleanse his past dark deeds back in Brood War. Artanis, the young Protoss leader, who is yet to prove to himself in Legacy of the Void that he is worthy to lead his people. Alas, we've come to the controversial part in the vid. Perhaps a lot of people watching would not agree, but at least hear me out. With a bit of imagination at our side, Blizzard gives the players at least 3 probable ending outcomes for the StarCraft story. Personally, I'm a bit tired of the Hollywood Disney approach of the good always winning. You could argue that's the case in StarCraft 2, and you're right to a certain degree. There is a psychological factor to it. Experiments were done and people better remember the last part of an experience, and if it's more pleasant or rewarding, they would prefer that experience even if it's been painful for longer duration. I would assume that people at Hollywood have known this for a very long time and would argue it's one of the main reasons majority of the movies end in a good way. However, in Wings of Liberty there is a nuance I found that works for me. More precisely in Zeratul's memories, which he shares with Raynor. That's not just some prophecy, but an alternative reality that shall manifest itself if Kerrigan dies. Under the way we start to understand quantum mechanics, that reality becomes as real as any. Imagine how many times Kerrigan could have died. A dozen. At the end of Wings of Liberty by Tygus, during her missions in Heart of the Swarm. If any of these events just tilt a little bit south, Queen of Blades is no more, and no one is left to bear the essence of the Xel'Naga. Aemon shall prevail. That's one reality presented in the game through Zeratul's visions. Those are vivid memories showcasing a highly probabilistic outcome if certain events are to manifest. Both Zeratul and Raynor characters go through that specifically as if it was an unfolding reality, so they can comprehend the magnitude and affect the future. Quantum mechanics helps us realize the choices, acts and decisions all of us take on a daily basis are impacting our own reality we experience and live in. In that sense, one could argue Blizzard gave a dark ending scenario in Wings of Liberty. If one so chooses, the campaign may as well end there and then. The last mission on the Kydarian Crystal. If one understands quantum mechanics and how the world of choices work out, they can decide to end the story there and then, ignoring what happens next in the timeline executed by Blizzard. We've been conditioned to think in a linear pathway, with past, present and future, where they are distinct, cannot be altered. However, science is finally catching up to the never-ending possibilities of realities. You don't have to necessarily stick with Blizzard's way of ending the saga. Think of your own way if you wish. Regarding all the forum whiners who dislike and critique the ending, use your mind's imagination and create a better suiting end for you. Why not? Who is stopping you? Doesn't it always bug you that an almighty villain with so much power is somehow always overcome by a weaker character? That's how we are conditioned to believe, that the good shall always prevail. In real life, we know that's not how things actually work out. People with the power, influence and money aren't the good benevolent people they portray themselves through media's influence. Not always. They themselves create and use the tools and systems for which they manage to manipulate everyone else for their own selfish benefits. Ending the argument here, some people criticize Legacy of the Void's epilogue, but what would you do if you were the writer of the story? If you have to end it, how would you do it? Kerrigan, initially a Terran ghost with powerful psionic abilities, which is a rare occurrence. Thus the story establishes a correlation with the purity of form trope which the Protoss race are fond upon. In time she even manages to overtake a Protoss matriarch in a psionic battle, showcasing how immense her powers are after being turned into an infested Terran. Forced to join the Zerg race, another puzzle piece, the purity of essence, towards the quest for ascension. Then again, cleansed from that influence, remade anew from the origin planet of the Zerg. Purity of Essence arc finalized. Her character transmuted into a perfect candidate to carry on the Xel'Naga's torch, because she already embodies the two necessary traits, Purity of Form and Purity of Essence. The three main races in StarCraft, with their distinct characteristics, marks, influences, and experiences engraved in her own hero's journey. In the epilogue missions, even in her most powerful form, she admits briefly that Xel'Naga's essence is becoming too much for her before channeling some of it. After the Xel'Naga's transfer is complete, she finally combines the attributes of all four StarCraft races. In that way, she's not just the summary of them, but transcends beyond each one. That's what the legacy of the Xel'Naga is all about, to merge with the best races, thus ascending them further. Creating an even better one ad infinitum, cycle upon cycle. The reasons for overcoming Amon aren't just one or two. The accumulated experience vastly outshines the limits of each one taken separately. Amon's a dark, powerful Xel'Naga, while Kerrigan is able to operate from all sides thanks to her past accumulated experience in reaching her character. The good, Raynor's influence, plus the Xel'Naga's essence. Bad being her Wind of Blades past, and neutral, her psionic powers and humanity. These do not counter each other, far from it. These experiences complement and enrich the character, thus allowing for the full spectrum of possibilities and acts. In that manner, Kerrigan is not a Xel'Naga, but an even greater form of being. To conclude, even if you're not a fan of the storytelling in video games, the gameplay of the campaign alone is worthwhile your time, especially if you're an RTS lover. However, if you've already merged into the StarCraft franchise, or you haven't yet experienced it, I would strongly recommend trying the campaign missions at least once. Comes to the old veterans, finding time to play for them, one more run is always worthwhile and fun.
Thank you for watching and have a great day.